This is Eurovision 365. I am Podrick, and you are very welcome wherever you're watching this from. And regardless of whether you are a new or returning viewer, thanks so much for stopping by. And yes, you have noticed right. I may have just received some merch from Eurovision shop for the 2024 contest. Look at that. Yes. You're never too old for these sorts of things, are you? Well, that's what I tell myself all the time. If you want to get badges or mugs or some other merch from Eurovision 2024, check the Eurovision TV shop. Anyway, now that we know all the 37 songs that will be performed in Malmo in May, it's now tradition for this channel to focus on the top 10 or so in the betting odds at least and answer the question, can they win? Before I go any further, to clarify, the top 10 odds I am basing this on is the one that EurovisionWorld.com has combined and compiled for us all. Word of caution, my friends, as with any betting odds, they do fluctuate all the time, but at the time of recording, these are the top favourites to win. I've already covered Sweden and Switzerland, and up next it is the Netherlands. The Netherlands has the distinction of being one of the original 7 nations to compete at the inaugural contest in 1956. Indeed, the first song ever performed at Eurovision was by Jetty Pearl and the song De Vogels van Holland. Incredibly, for that first Eurovision, the Netherlands TV station held a national final. Yeah, that also featured Corey Brocken, who would come back the following year and win, and then present Eurovision 1976. Viewers in the land voted for their favourite via postcard. From the outset, the Dutch meant business. Over the years, the Netherlands have sent daring entries, some of which were rewarded more than others. The first one, as I already mentioned, was 1957 with Corey Brocken, who towered above the single violin player with the mournful sounding Net als Toon. They won again in 1959. It was a fantastic start on the Eurovision journey for the nation. However, between the win of 1959 and third win a decade later, the Netherlands had a difficult run, placing last on 3 occasions between 1959 and 1969. Lenicourt won alongside 3 other nations at the 1969 contest in Madrid and had a lovely moment at the most recently hosted Dutch Eurovision in 2021, singing her winning entry on a rooftop. Someone asked me recently what Dutch songs from Eurovision I recommended they listen to, and I replied, every song from the 70s. I am of the opinion that the 70s were the glory days for the nation. Sure, they won once, but around the Ding Ding a Dong win, we had Patricia and the Hearts of Soul entering the decade with the mesmerizing and dreamy Waterman. It's one of my favorites, actually, maybe my own favorite from Holland. The folky duo Saskia and Serge with Teed in 1971, and more up-tempo numbers such as 1974 pre-contest favourite with Mouth and McNeil, and the late great Sandra Reamer's 2 entries in 1976 and 1979. The Dutch journey at the Eurovision is a story of 2 halves, because after that win in 1975, the path was difficult, I think. It's fair to say, and at times the nation had a really difficult time, especially from 2005 to 2012, failing to qualify in those years inclusively. Step forward Anouk, who secured a final spot at the contest in 2013 with the Haunting Birds and placed in the top 10. Things began to slowly but surely improve for the Dutch, culminating with Duncan Lawrence winning with Arcade at Eurovision 2019. The Netherlands have a very respectable record with 5 wins in total. Last year, much was expected of duo Mia and Dion, who were internally selected to perform Burning Daylight, which had been penned by aforementioned Duncan Lawrence. It was a much slower paced song, and perhaps they were trying to emulate the success of the Common Linnets, who placed second, of course, in 2014. Burning Daylight seemed to cause the duo problems vocally, and they appeared to experiment with different key ranges in an effort, it seemed, to help one or the other, which ultimately didn't help overall. After some nervy pre-party performances, and despite some decent staging, which I think worked very well, Mia and Dion failed to qualify for the final, thus ending a string of qualifications from 2016. hoping to bring the Netherlands back to the final is this year's performer. Step forward, Joost Klein, who I had been calling Joost until the viewers of Eurovision 365 kindly corrected me. That happens a lot. Born in 1997, he's just a cub. Born in 1997, Joost is a prominent YouTuber, starting when he was just about 11 years old. Joost has sadly lost both his parents when he was young. Joost is clearly a very creative individual and delivers a blend of hip hop and drum and bass and heavy dance tracks that has been prominent in the Netherlands since the 1990s. Joost appears to be a lot of fun, and upon the reveal of his song, it's fair to say it has taken the world by storm, surpassing maybe even Joost's own expectation of how fantastically well his song has been received. Europapa or Eurodaddy is the title, yay, the title of the song. On the first listen, I'll be honest, I thought it was a bit of tongue-in-cheek Dutch humour, with lyrics such as "Welcome in Europa, blief je toch ik dog, Europapa, Europapa." And it continues with frenzied lyrics, name-checking random places and things like Italia, paella, and fish and chips. One could be mistaken that it's a nonsense entry. A far cry indeed from the late Liam Riley's Irish entry at the 1990 contest Somewhere in Europe. But on closer inspection, Europapa reveals a much deeper meaning. In interviews, Joost has shared that Europapa is an ode to Europe and a letter to his father who taught him the world has no borders. Certainly, following my initial reaction and watching the end of the video where the house is on fire and two individuals which likely represent a young Joost and his dad, the lyrics go on, "My father once told me it's a world without borders. I miss you every day is what I secretly whisper." Where the video slowly ends with a burning photo that is presumably a very young Joost and his parents, the whole thing really touched me, and I can relate to Joost having lost both my parents. Europapa is riding high in the betting odds, currently 5th as I record this. However, the odds have changed slightly following the first pre-party in Madrid on the 30th of March. I'm fully expecting the odds to change again once Joost appears at a pre-party, and he will raise the roof for sure in the Netherlands at the Eurovision concert. I'm very confident of that. Is it original? Not overly, no, but I'm not sure that really matters. And sure, it's hard to have originality in 2024. The song has been crafted to sound like the style of music that became so popular in the Netherlands back in the 90s by acts such as 2 Unlimited, who I loved back in the day, and the style of Europapa is in a similar vein. So what's going for it? Well, the answer to that for me is quite simply Joost. I genuinely think it's impossible not to like Joost, and he sells the song really well. He's got a great energy that pours out from the screens, and I also like that the song is in Dutch as well. It's one of those songs that you're likely to hear in a club outside the Eurovision bubble, and it's something that people are likely to enjoy, especially a casual Eurovision viewer who, let's face it, make up the majority of the vote share. So what's going against it? As I said already, it's not overly original, and with other male acts this year such as Windows 95 Man and Baby Lasagna, it could be argued that they're going to cancel each other out, and one or more of those big hitters is going to suffer as a consequence. Is it going to do well with the jury? Well, this is a hard one to call. Musically, it brings together a variety of styles, so one would think a musical expert jury would appreciate that, but if a jury didn't award Kara so well in 2023, are they likely to appreciate Joost? Is Europapa likely to do well with the televoters? I think this is a lot more straightforward to answer. A categorical yes from me when it comes to the televoters. Even though the meaning of the song was lost on my non-Dutch understanding ears on the first listen, I still enjoyed the song, and of course, as I've already said, Joost is the major selling factor here. If Joost can nail the vocals, not go too overboard on the staging, and keep the happy energy of the song, then anything is possible. So, after all that now, it's now time for my personal verdict. Do I think the Netherlands can win Eurovision 2024? Going to have to say yes. I say yes because ultimately, even though there's a depth to Europapa that isn't entirely evident on first listen, the charm of Joost and the overall joy being presented is sure to be embraced by the voters. But that's what I think. Now over to you. Let me know your thoughts in the usual way, just like Keen from Ireland did. Keen says about Dutch win, televote 100%, and the only challenge is the jury vote. But it isn't impossible for Joost to win. Thanks, Keen, for sending your thoughts. As I say, let me know what you think about the Netherlands and the other nations at Eurovision 2024, and your comment could be included in a future video. Make sure to stop by next time when I continue on this journey around the top 10 favourites to win and answering the question, can they? Thanks for watching this time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.